Welcome, everyone, to Chapter 14. It's been 2 weeks. Bad things happened last week, but they didn't happen this week, so let's get the show on the road. Saturday, March 21st, 1998. The past few days have been eventful for the coterie. You'll recall that someone set Byron Rand's Haven on fire, that the Flushing Council condemned Joseph Jung's church, and that Jackie Hyler, the miserable son of a bitch, evicted Marcus Paulson. The four kindred are intelligent enough to realize that someone or something is fucking with them, and they were crafty enough to get out from beneath the underhanded assault. Byron survived the fire, Joseph saved his church, and Marcus... Well, Marcus will be sleeping at a derelict theater on a regular basis, and that's not so bad, right?
I'd like to believe it's not that so bad.
Night falls at 6:09 p.m. Roughly 4 hours later, the coterie awakens, losing a point of blood in the process as they begin their early routines. Also, Aaron, for those of you listening and watching, warned us a few hours ago that he might miss some or all of this session due to, I believe he's family matters. We'll go and say that. And that's perfectly fine. I sort of had to cancel on the last minute of these guys anyway. It's cool. Vampire the Masquerade is a selfish, individualistic game, so it's not a big deal if he's missing. Alright, Byron, you get to go first again today.
Oh, happiness.
Evelyn,
Okay, well,
Evelyn O'Malley's apartment isn't as comfortable or as luxurious as Byron's old haven, nor does it contain any of Byron's familiar possessions. A beloved suit, a fashionable tie, shoes melted right around your feet, and so forth. What it does contain, however, is Byron's ghoul, who appears to have fallen asleep right on her couch, slumped over a table full of folders and papers for the real estate business. The nightly news is on the television across from her, where the talking heads are currently discussing how the Dragon Metro Cab Company has just bought out Sunshine Cabs, granting the former a near monopoly on cab travel in New York City. Also,
sweet. I can't
wait,
get enough of those Ouroboros symbols.
Also, when Byron looks at his new phone, there's a voicemail message from reporter Bridget Starr. She sounds excited and energetic, but also direct. Miss Lancaster has agreed to meet us at El Palenque, a little Mexican hole in the wall, at 11. Bridget provides the address before ending the voicemail.
All right. Well, I will go and poke Evelyn and say I'm headed out, and if she has anything she needs to tell me beforehand, to let me know.
Her
My
words
message on
consist
phone.
of...
Right. So anyway, since that's done, I guess I will head out. I'll do Barney things, stare in the mirror for about 20 minutes, and do my hair. That I don't know. Anyway, I'll try to arrive at that place at 11 and all blushed up.
Okay, next up, Marcus. Now, I have to ask, did Marcus go to sleep in Majestic again, or did he return to his apartment this time?
Well, he had to leave at the end of the month, right? Or the end of
Yeah,
the week?
yeah, end of the month.
Yeah, he went back to the apartment. He just wanted to stay there the night before because why not?
Alright, that's perfectly fine. And I suppose I'll take this time, although the player characters heard some things about it whenever I've talked with them over Skype. No one has really heard about this who's viewing or listening. So, info dump. The Majestic is an abandoned cinema, a derelict building built in 1938. It hasn't been operable for approaching 11 years now. Uh, None of the characters are exactly sure why it has been bulldozed and replaced with something else, or why someone didn't long ago buy and remodel the building, given its otherwise lovely location. The coterie only ended up purchasing it a short time ago, and it will take a significant amount of funds over a several month span, if not longer, to bring the building up to code and make it functional once more. Now, There is some superstition around the locale that may have been driving market forces. For starters, you have the double murder that happened back in 1973, what police investigated and revealed as a lover squabble. Anderson Rayner, son of the Majestic's owner, used a locale to hook up with his forbidden love interest, Valerie Clausen, who just so happened to be the wife of contract killer Hugo Clausen. Anderson was young and foolish, Valerie was lonely and desperate, and Hugo was, well, a professional. The pictures of the crime scene were so gruesome they were never made available to the public. In addition, 14 years later, in the summer of 1987, someone set fire to the cinema during a late-night double feature, and that someone knew the building well because of how efficiently the access points were eliminated. Doors were locked or blocked, trapping spectators and preventing easy egress. 58 people died that night. A horrific tragedy, one which inspired the city, if not the country, to begin passing serious code restrictions to improve building safety. To make matters worse, the person responsible for the accident was never caught. The structure was once proud and beautiful. Anyone looking through news archives could see that. But now it's a ruined wreck, perhaps kept in existence until the coterie bought it to remind everyone of the tragedy that occurred there. But, nothing happens to Marcus because he's sleeping in his apartment again.
Would something have happened had I been sleeping out there?
Yeah, I mean, you slept there once before and nothing happened, right?
Okay.
The same is actually true of Joseph. No major news event or dire message or vicious assault. You too can conduct your evening routines without interruption.
I don't know what Joseph's gonna do, but I think Marcus is gonna, unless someone calls him, he's probably just gonna go do Marcusy things.
I think Joseph would give the rest of the coterie a call and ask if they were up to doing something important, particularly Byron. And if not, he's going to try to feed him.
David doesn't pick up.
Yeah, Byron will answer, and he'll say that he's going to meet with the newspaper contact, and that shouldn't take too long because these are mortals after all. They'll probably want to go to bed, so he's up for anything after an hour or so. He'll let Joseph know when he's done.
Well, do you want me there, or do you want to handle that on your own?
Byron will say, well, I mean, oh, go ahead. What?
Just remember, if I'm there, they don't have to necessarily know I'm there. Just keeping that in mind.
Right. I mean, Byron is going to say, yeah, I mean, if you want to come and look in on it, that's fine, but probably 2-on-1 is could be intimidating enough for this woman. If it's 3 people questioning her, it could be kind of could make her a little uneasy. But Byron doesn't care if you're there or not. He'll tell you where it is and say it's at 11 at. I've already forgotten what the place Grimith said, but I have
El Palenque.
That's it. Snazzy.
It's an address in southern Astoria.
Okay, so there you go.
I think I'll actually let Iron handle this.
I mean, that was the agreement that was talked about during our last session. I know it's been 2 weeks ago, but that's why it was passed on to Byron so that he could handle it because of his social skills.
I remember that vaguely. I don't think Joseph's gonna be uptight about Byron handling it on his own.
And I can already imagine the call that would exist between Joseph and Marcus. So you doing anything tonight? Well,
You know what? Forget I asked.
Dude, you want to go out partying? Come
No.
on.
No, click.
I asked. I had to ask.
okay. I will now drag David Green off the map for no raisins.
No raisins in particular.
Byron, right? Well, is Byron gonna walk there? Is he gonna jog, skip? This question just blew Cripson's mind.
No, actually, it did blow my mind, but not in that respect. I was just talking, just not hitting my push to talk button. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the metro. I guess, there's got to be a metro stop. So half walk, half metro.
Sure. Byron arrives at the listed destination, a little restaurant in southwestern Astoria. The nearby buildings have gone dark, but El Palenque is live and vibrant. I'll even give you that name in the chat. El Palenque is live and vibrant, and music is filtering out from the joint. It's not a big place, and it definitely does look like it's seen better days, but there's still, 10, 12 people inside, maybe more. It's not easy to tell from out here.
All right. I mean, Byron gives it a once over, and he's blushed up. I just took the points off, and he'll walk on in and see if he can. I mean, I'm assuming he knows what Albright looks like. He may, seen her on a byline or something. Maybe. If not, he'll try to find where they are.
The Ventru is observant enough to spot his party. Bridget Starr and Charlotte Lancaster, the name that you chose 2 weeks ago, are sitting in one of the booths, and while there's at least a table's distance between any other patron, El Palenque looks as small on the inside as it does on the outside. The Astoria Times reporter looks as she often does in public, long red hair, piercing green eyes, and a dark cashmere suit. There aren't many women who wear full suits, but Bridget Starr evidently doesn't give a fuck. Just in her late 20s, she has enough charisma and courage to buck feminine stereotypes, and while it's fair to say her openly rebellious attitude has harmed her career, the knowledge hasn't changed her. Byron will also note that Bridget has a notepad on the table with a pen resting near a cassette recorder. Charlotte Lancaster, on the other hand, is dressed casually on the Saturday night. The light-skinned, heavy-set barista looks to be at least in her early 40s, with shoulder-length brown hair and brown eyes. There are many creases on her face, but she has a generous mouth and a warm smile. Bridget and Charlotte appear to be in the middle of light discussion, and they've also had their eyes focused on the door. So while they might not know exactly how Byron Rand looks, they're expecting that any person at this point will probably be you.
Right, particularly a guy in a full suit. He's probably a little out of place at this place. But Byron will walk up and say, "Good evening, ladies. Mind if I take a seat?" And he'll sit next to Albright.
He'll sit next to who? Albright?
What's his name? Albright? Shoot, what's the reporter's name again? I thought it was Albright. Oh,
I
Bridget
dragged her
Starr.
next to
I
you.
think it's Albright. It's in my head. Anyway, Bridget Starr. Sit next to her. I don't know why.
They greet you. They have not gotten anything to eat or drink yet, but about 10-15 seconds after you sit down, a dark-skinned 30s guy with black hair comes over with a mustache, and he has a little notepad out. Orders? And Charlotte ends up requesting a Sprite. Bridget shakes her head, and the gentleman looks towards you.
Byron will just order a water.
He nods, walks away, and eventually ends up returning those. Charlotte ends up sipping at her Sprite, and she seems a little nervous in this situation. Her eyes sort of focus on you. Byron's familiar enough with social situations that she heard enough of a story that there's kind of like that whole guilt thing where she heard that, something bad happened to you, but she doesn't know what to say to you about it. Like, she doesn't know whether she can empathize or whether she can connect with you on some level. This whole sort of like guilt thing that people get in awkward conversations.
Right. So Byron will smile pleasantly, and he'll say, I'm very happy you can meet us here this evening. I hope everything is going well for you.
She ends up with a horrible social gaffe in that certainly it is going better for me than it is for you. And then she stops, and her eyes widen, and she blushes. I'm so sorry.
Byron will just laugh. It's like, well,
She extends a hand, like she wants to grab the words, take them back, and put it in her mouth.
Byron will just laugh it off. I mean, he's just like, yes, I have had better days the past few days, that is for sure. But I'm still very thankful that you've met us here, so maybe I can get some answers.
So, Charlotte says, I'm not sure what I can give you. I gave a statement to the police. I don't know what else I can say about it. Bridget looks over towards you, and she nods her head towards the tape recorder, shrugs at you.
Right. I did hear a little bit about that. You said that you noticed two people that one was a black man of some sort. Could you describe him again for me?
Said, I only ended up seeing just the I see many people over the course of my day, but the only person who seemed like any sort of person to stick out to me was her eyes sort of glaze over, and her voice gets a little softer. A gentleman, yes.
Byron raises an eyebrow. Well, could you describe this gentleman, please?
Well, she begins thinking about it. Trying to make sure she gets the description right. Let's see. And then she ends up giving you the exact same description, word for word, that was quoted in the whole report that Vargas ended up telling to all of you whenever he was put on speakerphone. Tall black male with black hair, standing near or above 6 feet in height, and weighing maybe 180 to 220 pounds, late 20s, early 30s, wore a pair of sunglasses, dark suit jacket, khakis, white undershirt, no tie, maybe walked with a slight limp. He seemed to stick out from everyone else. He actually stopped nearby, asked politely for a few napkins, smooth voice. She seems a little, sort of awkward and uncomfortable. Byron's familiar enough with social situations to know that, and having to retell this description.
Right. So Byron will nod, say, all right. Did you notice any visible scars? Like there might be one on the face, for instance.
She nods. Yes, he was heavily scarred on his face.
Byron will nod and say, all right. That sounds about right. Do you think he was was he doing anything out of the ordinary, or just standing around, or what drew your attention to him?
She her eyes sort of lock onto a floor, some sort of speck of dirt that's far away from you that goes a little distant, and she sort of blushes and says, I don't know.
Huh. Interesting. Hmm. Well, and then Byron is going to look embarrassed, and he's going to look at Bridget and say, "Well, I thought there might be more here. I'm terribly sorry."
Bridget frowns. She actually didn't even turn on a tape recorder at all.
Right. I mean, just out of character, Byron definitely suspects that this woman, Lancaster, may have had her memories doctored in some way. So he is kind of going to wait for Lancaster to leave, and he's going to, maybe try to catch her alone. Either try to get Bridget Starr out of there so he can do his Dominate 3 on her, the Forgetful Mind. I don't think that...
well, keep in mind that Bridget's not the only person in here either.
Right, but he would try to get to a more private place, and if he asks Lancaster...
I mean, you can always pitch a suggestion, right? Don't you have other Dominate things that could be useful even in a situation full of people? This is a freebie.
No, I definitely do. I was just, yeah, it's, I can definitely suggest things. Hold on, let me pull up the book and look at exact rules for that.
Okay, don't worry about it. You see that, everyone? I gave Byron, I gave Cripson something.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I was thinking on that, but let's see. And I don't know if it was in the chat with you or not, but I mentioned to everyone else, it's like, I can totally mess with the reporter's mind if I have to and give her a version of events. And everyone's like, no, don't do that. So I've been avoiding it.
I mean, you can definitely, you're fucking Ventru with like 3 dots and domination, and you're 8th generation. You can do many things. Please dominate responsibly.
Because that's exactly what Byron is all about, responsible domination. Now, using presence, on the other hand, apparently he's not so responsible with it.
He has been known to do unfortunate things with the presence ability.
Man, where's... Sorry, I keep passing it. Well, anyway, as far as I know, the next one's like Mesmerize or something like that, or maybe I'm getting it confused with the Dungeons and Dragons spell. But
that's what I think it is, the Mesmerize thing.
Okay, yeah, it's either... See, one of them is Suggestion and one of them is Mesmerize. One of them's D&D, one of them's the Masquerade, but they're very much the same thing. Similar things. So I can definitely look at Albright and...
Albright? You did it again.
Yeah, I did. It's because there's
what's with you thinking about our First Lady Secretary of State?
Yeah, that's what it is. My mind keeps going to that. I don't know why. I don't know. I keep thinking...
I was about to ask. That was my first guess. But why would he be thinking about that?
It's Star. It's because their last name is Star, and for some reason it goes with Bright, and then I don't know. When I think of reporters, I think of politics. It's very, it's not a direct relation.
So you're going to be mind controlling Madeline Albright.
Yeah, actually, that'd be pretty awesome. I'd have fun with that. All right, there we go. Finally found out. I missed it like 3 times. So let's see.
Yep, pages 152 and 153 of the core book.
Yeah, I'm just skimming through it now. So yeah, I will. What I'm looking for is I can't do it to both at once. That was the main thing I was looking up.
No.
If I could, yeah. Well, in that case, just because I am going to use a blood point, I'll use Awe, and then I will say to Lancaster, where Star can hear, it's like, maybe we should go get a drink alone somewhere, and maybe if I get you talking, we can get more... you can think of something, but I don't know if this is something that we need to waste Bridget's time on. I can give her a call back if I find out any information.
All right, go ahead and give me a Charisma plus Performance at difficulty 7.
All right,
that is definitely a success. That affects one person then. Uh, who, which person would you like to affect with that?
So yeah, well, the one thing though is that I do have the voice thing. Were you taking that into account with the 7?
No, I wasn't.
So then it's 3 successes, I guess.
Okay. In that case, yeah, that's more than enough to affect them both. In that case, it seems like a curious thing, but with the awe, Bridget just sort of nods, and she's sort of she looks like she wants to be annoyed at the fact that she feels like her time's been wasted, but then again, she'll think about the fact that Byron did say that he might give Bridget some exclusive information about what happened later, like his first eye, hand witness account.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I will be doing that. I will either give her a real version of it, or I will play with her head and give her a false version. I'll have to ask the coterie what they want me to tell her about that.
Uh, Charlotte will say, "Are you sure we just got here?" I mean, Bridget shakes her head like, "No, no, no. It's," and she'll motion to get up, having to scooch past you in the booth. Byron has to stand up, and she'll nod and she'll give a pleasant nod and shake hands with Charlotte. It was nice to meet you, and look towards you, Byron, and smile and say, "I'll be listening for that call later." And
Byron will nod and say, yes, yes, I'm sorry to bring you out here. I really thought that she would have seen more than she did. And maybe she did, she just doesn't remember it yet. I'll try to get it out of her.
she nods and smiles, and Bridget walks out, leaving you alone in the booth with Charlotte, and of course your 10 to 12 various patrons who are boisterous and what have you, because it's a Saturday night and they're having a good time.
Right. So Byron will say, all right, well, this is not really my type of place. I mean, if you like it, and then he'll kind of trail off and say, I would much rather find a place a little more private where we can relax more. And he'll put on his best smile with that, trying not to look creepy, which might be hard.
Well, with the awe thing, she's been won over enough. Like, okay, sure, but I, she looks at her Sprite, which she's barely drunk at all. I sort of have to cover this first.
Oh, I assume Byron has at least $10 on him, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Byron will just drop $10 on the table and say that should be more than enough for our water and Sprite and any tip she could dream of, or he could dream of, depending on what sex the waiter is.
Okay. Well, with the awe and the charm that Byron is oozing, the simple human walks out with Byron. So where are we going, Byron Rand? I'm saying that,
Yeah.
not her, in a deep voice.
Yeah, you said most places were closed. Is there any like bar or something that's not well lighted? Just like where they could get a quiet corner type
A
of thing.
shady bar or nightclub? Yeah, there are plenty of those. It's Saturday night.
That's what I figured, but you said everything was closed, so I was like, maybe
Well,
we're gonna
everything
lose.
around El Palenque is closed.
All right, well, Byron will
I'm
say,
just,
let's just find a place where we can get a drink and all that stuff. And so he'll find a place with a dark corner, kind of in the back, where they can be left alone. And I'm trying to think this through, whether he can actually do it there, whether it's free enough of distractions.
You want a few minutes to think about it?
Yeah, because I mean, basically, two things I'm thinking about is either he just basically takes her to a back alley and sits her down, just like dominates and says, sit still, and then dominate does that, and change, because he can change her memories to whatever if he gets a decent enough roll. The downside is that if he doesn't get a decent enough roll, he's hosed.
All right, we'll come back to you. Joseph, you said you wanted to get a bite, or what does Joseph want to do? Is he continuing to celebrate?
No, he's actually trying to heal the massive burns on his chest right now. That's sort of what's on his mind.
Oh yeah, yeah, certainly.
you mean those burns you've had for weeks now?
You know, still probably hasn't forgotten the fact that, David bit him at one point.
Yeah, that's kind of annoyance too, but with the blood bonding, he's actually not too pissed off about that.
Hey,
He's
you can
pissed.
join the club. He bit me too.
He's bit everyone at this point. Yeah, but no, it's a massive burn on his chest that's kind of annoying him.
Certainly.
So, how long?
Well, how long does Joseph wish to hunt, or whatever? 3 hours?
3 hours sounds fine.
We'll take care of that right now, then. I'll take you to 11, 12, 1 a.m. Byron's got some length to play with there. So, how's Joseph going to go about this process of acquiring blood? Is it going to be the same method of talking about, church and persuading people and what have you?
Yeah, he's basically turning this into two birds, one stone. He's trying to get the church sort of out there and just talking to people about it, talking to people that late at night, people that are look like they're not the kind of people that normally turn up to church, and just trying to win some people over. And if he can suck their blood at the same time, it's cool too.
Alright, give me a charisma plus empathy at difficulty 4 then, 3 times. Alright, that's good, and of course you'll have to make your willpower checks for each time. Alright, that looks good there. Alright, you got the second one. And you succeed on that willpower roll. And you have that one covered too.
Unfortunately, that's good luck for the session. That's all your
That
good luck
is
for the
it.
session, gun.
Yeah, we were getting tense there with some of those ones popping.
With that one, the straight sevens, it's like, oh wait, is it 6 or 8? Do I need to make?
Thankfully it's a 6. All right, Marcus, what you gonna be doing, man?
Probably gonna... What the hell do I do besides go to clubs, play music, and get drunk? I'm having this revelation 14 sessions in.
I suppose now's the best time to have it.
Well, there's this really nifty mural that... Oh, never mind.
Well, Marcus achieves that same effect whenever he's in the clubs anyway. Like, apparently Aaron's been wanting to see more of him, like, zoning out in combat situations. I assume every time he goes to the nightclub that there might be, like, an hour or two where he's like, this fucking song! Keep playing it!
Everyone else gets pissed, but I'm... he's probably just gonna go to his favorite club, play some music, get lost in some things for a while. Gonna have a nice, slow night.
Okay. Yeah, it's a slow night. Alright then, that'll take care of them for a few more hours. Cripson, you have a better sense of what Byron's gonna be doing?
Oh yeah, I was looking into it. He is definitely going to use that mesmerize ability, and he is going to tell the truth, but he's going to try to put his full manipulation and leadership behind it, and say, I know some hypnotic techniques. If we can find a quiet place without distractions, that's why I wanted Bridget gone. If you would just follow me, we can do that, and maybe we can uncover something that maybe your conscious mind doesn't realize you saw.
Alright, give me a manipulation plus leadership.
Yeah, and I was also looking up, he has natural leader, so it's 7 dice. If he screws this up, then it's ridiculous.
Not impossible. Aaron certainly made some bad rolls, and I saw the one there at the beginning, and I thought it was good news. No, you've succeeded. She follows you. She agrees to this.
Yeah, it's the rules are if I make 2 successes, which that is, she won't do anything that seems too strange to her. So if it doesn't seem strange to her with awe and all that, then she will go.
Right. You have 3 successes there. The 10 and the 2 9s.
And a 1.
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to throw. I'm just trying to be honest.
the 4 also qualifies as well. Most people don't have that high of a willpower. Even
That's
Kindred.
true. All right, fair enough. So yeah, I will just. I guess the if there is a quiet little place like a park or something, I'll go there. You know, just it is 11 o'clock. You might be able to do that at a park bench. If not, then he'll, I guess, go back to the realty office as a safe location.
Certainly that can be done as well, and you'll have a key for that. And it's a fairly secure location, all things considered, and Byron is alone with Charlotte.
Woo, party! And then he will sit her down and he will try the forgetful mind and see if any of the events have been covered up, or if that memory of the man she saw is fake. Because he keyed in on the fact that the words were exactly the same that she mentioned.
Okay. Let's see here. How about you make a wits plus empathy roll? Please? Her memories have not been altered at all. And as you can sort of investigate around in her brain, uh, it it turns out that Byron, she's just really embarrassed. At 11:37 in the morning, during a short lull when there were no customers, Charlotte's eyes were wandering while she was cleaning her stand. That's when she saw him, stepping out of the building, straightening his suit jacket and brushing off a shoulder. He didn't look special, just one of many living in the city. But there was something about him, about his tall, muscular frame beneath the suit, about the way he stood on the sidewalk, poised and confident, eyes invisible behind those black sunglasses, about the way he began walking. A little extra emphasis on his left side, but nevertheless a long, smooth stride, as if he were some sort of predator, a panther in its natural environment, a powerful creature who had the luxury to be cool and relaxed, because really, what could anyone do to him? Most humans, like other animals, live their lives with an edge of fear. Small fish in a big pond, terrified a shark will focus on them. He was the shark, and she was the fish. She didn't notice how much time passed, only that he had approached her, stopping at the stand, and she could see a scarred face, a slight tilt of the head which revealed the chocolate-brown eyes behind the glasses, and then he spoke. What he said she didn't know, forcing him to repeat his request. "A few napkins, please, miss." Immediately she grabbed a handful of napkins and extended her hand, making brief contact with his. He was wearing gloves, smooth and dark, just like him. "Thank you, miss." And then he began walking, and her eyes followed his back until he rounded a corner. It's not that she found him physically attractive, or that he even should have looked noteworthy or interesting at all, but there was something about him, and his face remained in her thoughts until the fire began.
All right. Well, then, in that case, Byron will, without skipping a beat, after getting all the information, he'll try to edit her memories. And it's not, he just needs 3 rolls for this because he just wants to have her never come back here. That he just, after Bridget Starr left, they talked for a little bit and came to the conclusion that she hadn't seen anything more.
All right, give me a wits plus subterfuge, then, please.
User was moved to your channel.
I think you covered that at her current willpower.
Right. All right. Yeah, I have at least 3 there. So, all right, good. And with that, I will. I guess it's going to be. I'm not sure how it exactly works. I guess she can still make it home and still have the false memories.
Yeah, sure, you're a fucking vampire. She's a human with like 4 willpower. You're fine.
Right. I was just saying that if her memories, she's like, how did I get here? We not whatever. So we can hand wave it that she gets away from here with memories altered. I'd be superiorly happy about that.
Okay. Hey there, Aaron.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, it looks like I just got done with Cripson, with me, myself, with Byron. I'm having trouble with names today. I apologize.
You definitely are.
So Brian has been magically messing with the memories of Madeline Albright and Cripson.
That's it, exactly. That's what happened. Fourth wall, ahoy.
So, at any rate, Aaron, since you have a limited amount of time, we'll go ahead and jump straight into the action for you, David Green. Well, all of these things are taking place for the other members of the coterie for the next few hours. David, you wake up to begin your normal routine. You have a private message waiting for you on ShrekNet. One which may cause you some alarm because it comes from the name Uncle Smelly. As you very well know, Uncle Smelly is the alias of Gerard Rafin, the Nosferatu responsible for the creation of ShrekNet, who has become a political activist of sorts after Calabros's abdication. And odds are that he is the most recognized and most powerful sewer rat in the entire city. The short message reads, I am the possessor of your boon debts. We will meet soon to discuss them.
Well, shit.
Actually, go ahead and, this is no sort of like specified difficulty, but just go ahead and roll d10s for how many intelligence dots you have.
Well,
Alright.
then.
David knows Gerard Rafin, thinking about it, is an impassioned educator and leader of fellow Nosferatu. He has devoted the past several decades of his unlife to learning, creating, and helping his clan. In David's experience, although he's quite the loner, and that sort of stems from his idealistic nature as well as what happened with his sire. Nosferatu are close-knit by default because of their condition and how other kindred treat them, and Gerard has only helped facilitate that process. When the stories of Niktuku first began spreading, when the ravages and butcherings were found deep in the sewers, he also devoted himself to learning what he could on the monster, and he is likely one of the premier scholars on the creature. For these impassioned reasons, David would also know that Gerard does not have a pleasant attitude towards Calibros. At all. Nor, for that matter, do some of the Nosferatu associated with Gerard. And he has quite a following around him, particularly since over the past 2 months, there's still no Prince of New York, and Calabros's decision to abdicate has really begun to settle in, and it's souring, particularly with the Nosferatu. Clearly unhappy with the current direction of the city and upset at Calabros's stopgap measures at best, Gerard has actually turned your entire clan into something resembling a political entity, with a voice in kindred matters. In addition, David knows, as do the local Nosferatu, that Gerard Rafin's alias Uncle Smelly is a stage personality, a larger-than-life caricature of everything the Nosferatu are rumored to be. It's fair to assume that Uncle Smelly is part misdirection, part mindfuckery. I mean, he actually uglies himself up even more than he already is, which for a Nosferatu is saying something. He has like a filthy raincoat, this battered fedora, and he even carries small candies in his pockets, the better for which to entice children, as a joke. The Nosferatu, of course, do their best work when they're given both healthy respect and a wide berth by those outside the clan. It's also evident he detests the caricature and does not adopt it with his brethren, reserving it with some measure of disdain for other kindred. It is Uncle Smelly who is respected for his great power and knowledge. There's also a missed call from Joseph, apparently, but that's not more. He didn't leave a
Alright,
voicemail.
well, since he's not giving me a time or a place to meet, I assume that he's going to jump me at some point during this night or one of the coming nights. So I guess I'll call Joseph.
You know, it's interesting. Sort of perhaps a casual thing of looking through the. Can you want to describe, like, I suppose, like the details of your haven and perhaps your exterior security as well to anyone who might be listening?
Oh, sure. Let me open up my notepad document of all that stuff.
Sure.
Well, the main entrance is a steel door inside of the concrete ruins of what was once the surface level of a subway station. There's graffiti everywhere. There's a hidden camera near the entrance. There's a padlock, a deadbolt, and a medieval-style sliding door bar, just in case shit really gets real. There are the actual interior has a whole bunch of winding hallways that used to hold offices. There are intentional bluff spots where there are hallways filled with barricades that only lead to razor wire just to try and, if anyone were to break in, they might try to explore behind there. Joke's on them. The main platform, which is his place, is full of various concealed strobe lights and fog machines. There's a noise track loaded into the entire station's old loudspeaker system, just to mess with anyone that might have super hearing. It's a combination of screams, industrial sounds, and cackling laughter. There's mirrors set up, there's mannequins and cardboard cutouts everywhere, all to screw with anyone who would dare to use auspex inside of his sanctum, and all of it largely irrelevant unless he flips the switch to turn it on. And the place he actually sleeps is a steel locker stashed inside of a false panel in one of the walls that locks from the inside.
David Green, everyone, your resident Nosferatu.
Oh, and there's two different subway access tunnels, a maintenance tunnel that opens up a few blocks away inside of an active subway tunnel. The maintenance tunnel itself is rigged to have a gas leak and light on fire in the event that he flips its override switch. There's just all kinds of shit. Just crazy.
Well, and noticing and then checking the current sort of like security tape thing, there's off in the distance there, off in the edge. He's not standing like right by the steel door, but there does appear to be a humanoid figure who is wearing a long black trench coat, a beaten fedora, and he appears to be reading a newspaper.
Well, fair enough. In that case, I'll head out the back maintenance way, come up through the subways, and loop back around to the front entrance to greet him.
Okay. That's certainly done. As you approach closer, you see a Nosferatu who has truly suffered the effects of the embrace, with oversized ears and a head that looks like it has been shrunken by savages. He has an extremely weak chin, punctured by a few wiry hairs. Patches of mildewed gray hair thatch his head, but only in the few places not obstructed by eruptions of boils. He is currently, as I said, wearing his trench coat, which looks in far better shape than he ever could be. Or you, for that matter, and a fedora. There's also the brown eyes, alert and focused, constantly shifting to analyze his surroundings, which he ends up doing, folding up the newspaper and resting it on the ground he's littering, as he comes to look at you, his sort of slumped against some sort of concrete type thing. It's irrelevant.
Okay, he's littering.
Well, he'll probably pick it back.
Brand new campaign villain here. I thought
know.
Sevalad was terrible, but
He might pick it back up, but who knows, man?
no, I mean the surface level of this place is a shithole anyway.
Yeah. Sort of smiles like, he says with his soft voice, "I apologize for showing here on such short notice, David, and for..." He looks over in the direction of where the front door would be. Says, "But I figured this would be for the best."
You wanted to talk to me in person about my boons?
"I am here, David." He sort of looks around, and he, to the left and the right, and he sniffs like, "Probably the safest locale. Because I need your help. We need your help. The Nosferatu are screwed."
Well, that's hardly any news.
Kadir's maneuvering to proclaim himself prince soon. It's evident on the streets, in Elysium, in the whispers among kindred. The degenerate is still riding the success of his raids, or so he thinks. And he's more cocksure than ever. Does he think the Archon's approval will save him? Kadir's a Neanderthal, a blockhead put into his post because Calibros got sweet on him. When he makes the declaration, everything's going to shit. Vanderweyden, Marlena, they're not doing anything, but Jeannie and Helen have equivalent support. And one, if not them both, will not go quietly.
You know, I think we actually do need to talk about that.
He arches a brow. You know something, David?
I do, but it's not the sort of thing that is wise to talk about out in the open.
He nods.
And David will he'll unlock his front door and lead him in.
Okay. Gerard will follow respectfully behind you, for a sewer rat's haven is his own, and he certainly does not wish to challenge that or overstep his boundaries.
Right. David will bring him to the closest thing he has to a sitting or dining room.
It's worth noting that he's looking around respectfully, and he says, "This is a wonderful setup you have here, David. I very much like the locale."
Thanks. I've been meaning to put in some mounted guns, though.
He nods. "I can certainly help you with that. I've installed and devised many for the warrens beneath the sewers back in an attempt to stop the fiend."
Of course. And David will lead him on into his main sitting area, which is really just an area set out on the main station platform. He doesn't really have most of his actual active area split up into individual rooms.
Okay.
It's just kind of a rug, a table, and a bunch of overstuffed chairs. So, what do you know about Sevalad Cerveni?
The weak chin frowns heavily at that, and he lifts a rather sort of mangled hand there, and he says, "Every day I don't hear that name is a better day."
Well, sorry for shitting all over your day.
He laughs at this and says, he dwells beneath the city in his own little isolated cavern as far as I'm aware, as far as any of us are aware. I've not personally met him, have no interest in meeting him. I very much enjoy my own life. I understand the warlocks have been trying to pry him free of there really ever since we took the city over last year, and to my knowledge, 100% unsuccessful.
Well, this is about him.
A gray brow lifts.
You understand why I don't want to talk about this on street level. Why I don't even really want to talk about it on the ShrekNet.
Of course, we already have enough problems.
It's my understanding that the sheriff, against his will, spent some time down there.
Damn! That would explain those sort of sighs. We, of course, as we are wont to do on others, have been keeping track of him as they do with just about everyone, just as I'm sure you do with your own friends. And Kadir has certainly had instances where he's gone off grid, where for whatever reason no Nosferatu wished to go follow, and he would return several hours later. There was a few times where he even went into some isolated shack in Central Park.
That's the one. Leads to an elevator shaft.
And there was no sewer rat who could find a way to open the damn elevator.
Yeah. Jeannie already knows too.
He blinks. You tell the warlock?
It was important. Some of my coterie, I had fears that their memories were being tampered with.
They went down there?
They did. While I was in torpor.
Gerard is unsure of how he wishes to respond to this.
I've been watching them, and as far as I can tell, they weren't affected. But the sheriff clearly was. He stole an artifact when he said that he was going to deliver it to the Tremere. That was the clincher for me.
The artifact, does that pertain to this sort of massacre thing that occurred in Astoria some time ago?
Yeah, it was some sort of flesh-sculpted thing.
I believe the witness accounts for Snowman?
Yeah, shot lasers from his mouth, too. We killed it.
Gerard actually shudders a little.
Oh, you've got no clue. My priest friend, I think he still might be messed up by it. He took the brunt of the lasers.
And flesh-crafted thing from Sevlod?
I doubt it. The sheriff seemed surprised. We're all working on speculation right now, but I heard that, well, it was suggested that it might be Lombok Ruthin. I don't know if there's any evidence to substantiate that, but rumors.
There's a long drawn out.
You know Polonia's been back in the city recently, right?
I have heard, yes, and that your friends were actually responsible for at least chasing him off for a time before the sheriff could ambush him.
Way I heard they were responsible for him escaping. blundered into the ambush.
He shrugs. I am unsure whether the sheriff could have actually taken Polonia, but perhaps it might have actually been for the best for the city if something had happened to Kadir there.
Yeah, I think that was his first public reappearance since he got taken.
Indeed, that would explain the weak disappearance as well that he tried to shrug off with the whole Sabbat hunting thing.
Yep, and that was right near, well, that was right in the middle of my sabbatical.
Yeah, still tapping his weak chin, he says, well, with that then, especially if the, he sort of sighs, the warlocks know, that takes care of Kadir. There's no way he'd ever survive the whole claim to princedom, and he's on borrowed time. The real problem then becomes Genie ascending to the princedom as well.
Yeah, he's not my first pick, but at this point I feel like I've kind of thrown my lot in with him.
He says, we have to stick together, every one of us, David, because this city might dip itself into internal war, and we're going to be consigned back to the fucking sewers if the Vintru and the Tremere and the Toreador power block seizes control again. Gone are our havens up here above ground. Gone will be our access to hunting grounds. We will be consigned and condemned back down there with that cannibalistic monster.
So who's your ideal candidate?
He puffs his cheeks. Ideally, it would have been one of us. Calibros. Yeah, there is a pained sigh. There's no way that another one of us would be accepted. No Ventru, no Tremere, no Toreador can be accepted at all, for all of the gains that we've gotten here in the city would be lost. To that end, he sort of, it is pretty much discussed and agreed upon with all of the others. It has to be Van der Weyden. Marlena is too much of a joke to be taken seriously. She's too much of a long shot. Van der Weyden still is a bit of a traditionalist, but at least he's outside of the power block. We don't have to worry about the hammer falling down on us. We have more room for maneuvering with him.
Van der Weyden's my preferred too, but for different reasons. We share similar backgrounds.
He nods. Rest assured, he is the... Unless you can think of some better candidate who we could somehow all combined as Nosferatu force into the princedom.
Ha! Shy of hand-picking one of the better barons from Staten Island. I don't think that there's even another choice.
Said, the Anarchs and the Sabbat, they could both seize this moment to pounce, and it could dip the city into internal war, and we'd have to survive this giant pissing contest. I am here, and I am willing to forget the boons, for we sewer rats are all brothers and sisters. And as isolated as you may end up enjoying yourself, as any other kindred might, we have to keep in mind that our people have been oppressed in one form or another by the princes and the harpies and the snobs of the various councils and the balls at Elysium for longer than you or I have been alive.
So, what's your plan?
And he takes a deep breath and says, "There's going to be an immediate fallout, that's for sure, especially since the Tremere have suspicion of this as well. Kadir is not long for this world. That will create a power vacuum. Genie will take advantage. Helen may have a play. We have information on all of them, but with that sort of thing," he sort of sighs, "with what you've just told me, if Genie knows, and if we help him, and we're helping the warlocks, maybe we shouldn't do anything about Kadir."
Are you suggesting we let it get as messy as it's gonna get?
He nods slowly with that. "There's going to be a war for sure between the Camarilla. It is a pity, but with Kadir still in existence, Genie, especially if he actually trusts the information that you gave him, will have no choice but to throw his lot in, as will the Tremere themselves, especially if Sevalod is involved." And he sort of chuckles at that. "A warlock allowing themselves to be ruled by Zamitzi."
Genie personally corroborated some of it when he undid a mental block one of my coterie mates had.
I was like, "Then he will be convinced on the matter. Helen will most likely do as the Ventru do and bide their time and then swoop in all high and mighty and mediate the situation and bring the city of New York back to peace."
Or that's the plan, anyway.
Right. "We have to somehow find a way to prop up Vanderweyden."
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, well, dangerous. Could earn us the enmity of the entire clan Tremere.
Go on.
Well, we could make it look like the successful assassination of the sheriff was unwarranted. I have a feeling that Vanderweyden, considering his nature, will be one of the first to decry it, if that was the case.
He takes a deep breath and says, and, yeah, he's zoned out for a little bit looking away for Dave, and then he looks back to Dave and says, "You really do seem like you would be the appropriate one for a meeting with the rest of us. Why don't you come up sometime?" And for this, David would sort of know, he doesn't exactly know the exact location of Gerard Raffin's haven, but he does actually, it's assumed that he actually lives with all the ShrekNet servers, and he would actually know that the Nosferatu domain that's in northern Manhattan, he actually havens up there. And many of the other Nosferatu support him do as well. And sort of Gerard ends up giving a set of locations in that we end up having discussions on many of most nights, and your ideas would be welcome there, David.
Alright, I might just stop in.
I unfortunately... And at this moment there is a buzz coming from inside Gerard's coat. Sort of, he frowns in mid-sentence and looks down at his coat. "Hold on, you should be fine there." He picks it up and sort of blinks at the number like he was about to press the ignore thing, and then he recognizes it and says, he flips it open, sitting there right there, and like, "Hello?" And there's a discussion that goes on for about 10 seconds. And, he blinks, closes the phone, and looks back to you. Things have... It seems that someone else has decided to force the situation.
What happened?
The Ventru Helen Panhard has met final death.
Then it's begun.
And with that, Gerard will nod and again express an interest. And seeing David, he's free to come up whatever night he so wishes. Or many nights at all. It's certainly like an open door thing. And Gerard leaves.
Well, I guess now's a good time to call Joseph back.
Go for it.
So David's going to do that. He's going to call Joseph back. But he is going to first make sure that all the doors are locked and, make sure that...
Absolutely,
no
although,
exchange.
and if we're going to get into like an interesting type situation, as you can certainly confirm, you two can get into an obfuscate fight and never find each other.
Until I pick up some off-specs.
Yep.
But yeah.
Until you pick up 4 dots of aspects.
We'll definitely say that Gerard and David engage in enough small talk and chit-chat and basically going over things that that catches Aaron up with the current time stream. Certainly. Joseph, you have finished hunting, and you get a phone call from David.
Hello?
Joseph.
Yes?
You called me earlier.
Yes, was checking in to make sure everyone was okay, and if they had anything that was important that they were doing.
There's been an assassination.
Who?
Panhard.
Any suspects or anyone with any information at all?
That's all I've got so far, but you can be sure it's about the ascension to the princedom.
Everything is right now.
It's starting. Tonight's the real start of the conflict.
This is going to be bloody.
Incredibly. Probably going to involve fire, too. I'm going to call everyone else.
I want to say, just up front, we need to set any differences we have aside.
For now.
For now, until this is over, because otherwise we won't see the end of it.
Okay. I'm going to get in contact with Byron.
So you certainly have the power, of course, to start group conversations, and how much you guys wish to actually talk about over the phone is up to you.
Right. I'm going to get into contact with Byron and Marcus. You want to meet somewhere?
Yeah, let's meet at the States building.
Okay. And then David, figuring it'll take Joseph quite a while to get over there anyway, will then take his time with the other 2 calls.
We have this thing called group calls, right?
Yeah, but...
This gives Joseph a head start, so he might end up maybe not at an hour after everyone else.
Besides, David finds it easier to be obstreperous with one person at a time.
Man, stop using those SAT words. It's been too long for me.
Stop using those made-up words.
Obstreperous isn't a made-up word.
I know. I just know I don't know what it means.
Oh.
So you calling first?
Marcus.
Question, Grimith. Am I currently enthralled by something?
You can be if you want. That's up to you.
What
Roll a
is this thing?
self-control roll at difficulty 6.
Beautiful.
Alright. But there is an awesome song, and you can name a song that Marcus really likes to commemorate the occasion.
It's that song.
No. I need more detail, man. We do role-playing here.
Play your fucking role.
Now I have to figure out what songs the Ramones did.
Why does it matter? They all sound pretty much the same. And
Oh!
You gonna get flamed in the chat.
Hey man, I have the Ramones' greatest hits, like 35 songs, and I seriously lose my place on the thing because they're all good songs, but yeah.
They're all one good song.
That's it.
Alright, so yeah, ring ring, motherfucker. Pick up the phone.
I pick up the phone while It's Not For Me to Know by the Ramones playing.
Okay.
There's been an assassination.
Of whom?
Helene Panhard. This is the start of the actual struggle for the Princeton.
And she was the first victim?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, I guess the venture after throw their lot in with someone else? Like, it's... As long as Jeannie's not dead, as far as I'm concerned, we're still okay.
As well. Everyone's meeting at Astoria Estates to talk about it in person.
Sure, I got some time before my next gig.
Good. Click.
Click.
And then he's gonna call up Byron.
I'm a puppy girl and okay, hello. Yeah, he's got a new ringtone. He's all there.
So what you're saying is that Byron is made of plastic?
Well, no, he's got the Barbie song, whatever the name was. You know, let's go Barbie, let's go party.
Aqua sang that Barbie girl.
Yeah, that's it. I think that was
Byron.
the 90s.
Byron.
Yeah. Byron, we'll just say he's leaving the encounter at this point at the office.
Okay, yeah, he's right at the Astoria offices, yeah.
Helene Panhard's been killed.
Huh. Well, do we think this is Kadir or politics? Well, obviously it's politics related, but well, I'd like to say I was sorry to see one of my clanmates go, but I wasn't a huge fan, to be totally honest.
This is the start, though. I'm heading to Astoria Estates. Can you meet us all there?
Well, I was just locking up now. I met with that woman, Charlotte Lancaster. I can tell you more about that. No real new information there, just I think Jermaine might have been involved. Beyond that, I'll wait for y'all here.
All right, I'll be there.
Okay, you can go ahead and move and arrange your tokens. Actually, go ahead with anything else you wanted to say, Aaron.
No, that's it.
All right.
He is going to put all of his entrances that weren't already on lockdown, though.
Okay. Whatever you so like, you can copy pasta your token onto the Astoria Estates map. Because there might be another bomb. I'm just kidding, right? So it's been a pretty busy past 80 minutes of the session, right?
Well, shit's going down.
War. War is back.
Now imagine how long it might have taken the coterie to figure that out if Aaron couldn't come for any part of the session.
Until next session.
Oh, and hey, I just remembered, I've got dark vision now.
I suppose that's the one way you could call it, yeah.
What would you call Protean 1?
Protean 1? Eyes of the Beast, perhaps?
Nah. It's dark
Beast,
vision.
Beast eyes? Yeah, but with dark vision you see in monochrome.
That's true, this is even better than dark vision. It doesn't even have a distance limit.
Dark Vision Plus. Premium, the insider version.
This is like AD&D's infravision. I'm done.
They're trying to explain things to people in the chat, Gripson.
Yeah, I think they were asking who Helene Panard was, and one of them said, is she the frumpy one? I said, well, I don't know if frumpy. She probably was very well dressed, but she was, like you said, she was embraced before you get nip tucks on every corner. So
Right, she did not look the way that she wanted to look for the rest of eternity.
So your token's been copied for you.
Byron Rand sits on the sidewalk, alone.
Where is everybody?
Over there!
Funny how he got here first and he's outside the building. You
oh
all
yeah, I
just
was
snuck
just
past.
leaving him there. Just a dirt moment.
Everyone's here then.
Yeah, just look out the window, see Byron on the sidewalk outside. Yeah, everyone's here.
He saw his reflection in the window, and he was just doing his fair. I mean, he just got really involved in that.
There's two Byron map.
Oh, there are now. We're twinsies. All right.
As Sean said, he copied your token for you while you were busy admiring yourself.
Right. All right. Well, okay. We're all set then.
So,
So, one of the
what do we...
candidates for the Princeton is dead.
Right. Byron will say, well, I'll just let you all know. I met with the barista, Charlotte Lancaster, and I dug through her mind a little bit to see if she had if anyone had messed with it, and no, she's telling the truth. Definitely, she saw one that resembled Germain walking away from the building after they burned down my building.
Germain?